This morning I've got some maintenance to do, a little bit of repair work if you like, on my bamboo tomato teepee that I built last week, because I realised that I've planted a couple of plants that are in the doorway, and the ones that the cows stomped on, the cows came in, stomped on a couple of my young tomato plants that are around the other side, and so I need to move those. And then also I need to add some stakes in the ground to secure the teepee to the ground. So at the moment it's pretty solid, it's quite firmly in the ground, but as Darrell, who was the inspiration for the teepee in the first place, pointed out in the comments, that I really would be best to really anchor it into the ground, because if we get a strong wind, particularly when the plants have grown, the teepee will act a bit like a sail, so it might sort of take off into the atmosphere if I don't anchor it down. So I'm just going to cut some stakes, some pieces of bamboo, split bamboo, and drive these into the ground and then screw them and secure the teepee so it doesn't take off in a strong wind. So these two just here, nice looking plants, they're nice and healthy, I think they should do okay. And then the others are growing pretty well too, we're looking good. But there's a gap there, that was where one hoof stomped the plant, and there's another gap there where another cow hoof stomped the plant. So I'm happy to see that the people have looking after the cows. I've been out the back, just sort of right in the field right across the back there, but they come over the canal and come looking for something other than the dry rice straw that they're chomping on, and I think they'd find my garden pretty attractive. But the cowboys, if you like, the locals who pay attention, are supposed to be looking after the cows, are a bit more awake and a bit more aware that I don't want their cows on my vegetable garden or on my section at all, so they can hopefully they'll be a bit more diligent and keep them off, because otherwise there's going to be a bit of a problem. So I'll just go through back to the shed and cut these pieces for the stakes. So we've got one little hole here where there used to be a tomato, but there's no longer. Yesterday I did water this area, water the tomatoes and water these two holes that I'm digging now with some lacto acid bacteria, so that should help these little guys grow. Hopefully they'll transplant okay. The soil's nice, it's nice and moist, and everything should be okay. So it'd be good if there's no gaps in the circle around the teepee. We've still got a few weeds growing here. The grass grows like crazy, it just kind of creeps in. But, oh, look at that, it's pretty strong. Remove these little bits of grass, maybe not, maybe I'll just loosen it up a bit first. Try and get a good clump of soil around this so it's not disturbing the roots. I'm disturbing the roots as little as possible. And oh, there's actually two plants there that I'd planted together, so let's see if we can move these comfortably over here and come back for the other one. These are good, healthy plants. I'm happy about that. Hopefully they will tolerate being moved. It's not something I've tried before. I usually just like to put them in the ground, of course, and leave them there to grow. But come on, we'll see if we can give you a happier place to live than in the doorway. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's give them a little bit of water. It's got this pomegranate here. I usually leave the hose running on that a little longer each time I turn the hose on and off. We had a few pomegranates on the property, but this one's doing the best. The other ones aren't seeming to do so well. I'm not sure why. I think possibly though because of the sunshine. This one over here gets the more direct sun all day. So give those a little bit of water just to help them along their way. And now I'll just drive these stakes in. I was going to do 3, but there's 4 of them, so the storms that we get here were kind of surprising, having lived in Chiang Mai for so long, and it never really gets a good wind in Chiang Mai. But down here, under the mountain, at the foot of the mountain, it certainly blows hard, particularly in the wet season. So, but even as early as April last year, we had a huge storm that took out our hoop greenhouses. Whoop. So I'm not sure what these are called. They've probably got a name, but it's a self-tapping screw that has been used on some of the steelwork in the house originally. That's where I learned about them, and found that they're also great for drilling like this into bamboo. So, there we have it. Should be a little bit more secure when the wind comes. I'm quite happy here. Got this nice silver beet that's growing well. This was actually from seed that I picked up when I was in New Zealand last year. So it's good to see it growing here in Thailand. And we've got a good harvest at the moment of eggplants. There's a few still there. I picked about 7 or 8 this morning. Some that are still coming on, still got some flowers happening there. Brassicas are doing well. Tomatoes, look at these, Uncle Leo's tomatoes coming on quite nicely. I was a little bit slow, I was away the other day and There was one that was coming ripe and the birds got it first, unfortunately. But we've got a mixture of cabbage and cauliflower through here, some beetroot, and then more Uncle Leo tomatoes. So this is going to be another project to stake these up and build some sort of a frame with the bamboo again, I think, to help support those. There's a couple of ones that I put in a little bit earlier, but they catch a bit of shade from these trees, so they're not growing quite so well. And then this little area is going well. Need to do a bit of weeding in here, but we've got the cherry tomatoes coming on nicely, some marigolds looking pretty, and more Uncle Leo's in there. And we've got cucumbers, getting some odd shapes, but I've picked some nice cucumbers off here in the last few days. And then more and more tomatoes. And it's this basil plant that just keeps on growing and producing lovely scented leaves, very tasty. And keep chopping it back and using those, and drying some of it, and then the rocket is just so tasty, it's fantastic. So there you go, there's just a little bit more of an update of what's happening in the garden now. It's looking quite nice. So I will just keep plugging away and trying to keep it as full as I possibly can, even during the hot season. We'll see how we go. So thanks for watching another Suansuk homestay video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hope you've enjoyed the update, and that you'll keep watching for more.